evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Where's My Stage? I've got the wrong screen going behind me tonight. One of those days. There we
You're
go.
forgiven this time, though, because
So,
at least you're not muted, and at least you kind of
yeah,
got your shit together, maybe a little bit.
yeah. Somebody's been in the woods the last 24 hours. Yeah, and got to go back
Yeah,
to the woods. So,
you've had a long week. It's okay. You're allowed. You're
yeah.
allowed. That's all good.
Oh,
How are you?
I am doing so.
Good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Where's My Stage?
Hello, Michelle.
Oh,
Kim.
hello.
So yeah, what have you been up to this last week? Getting yourself back together after I took over and our craziness with Chuck last week, and
yeah, that was fun. That was good. Well, my dishwasher broke, so I get to go dishwasher shopping this morning, and yeah, it was great. Yes, it was awesome. It was not even 3 years old. I think we just got it like 2 years ago. No, not at all. But little par for the course when your husband buys a refurbished appliance, and I looked at him and said, "This is your penance. Now we're going to go buy what I want to buy." And so we did. So that's how I spent my morning.
So awesome.
But otherwise, it's been pretty uneventful for the most part, anyways. How about you? You are the one who's been all over the place.
I've been under the weather, and then I got invited on an investigation up here in the great Adirondack region of New York, and I drove up, and where we are, there is no cell service, so I found myself a little hotel in the middle of nowhere where I could get Wi-Fi, and their Wi-Fi is slower, so thank goodness for the
some of the best horror stories are born of those hotels.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you might want to be careful.
So next time, Marilyn, that's who I should have got on and Keith and figured out where I should have stayed instead.
Duh. See, Marilyn, I wouldn't forget you like that, but that's okay.
So we're up there, had some, so activity, but it's been raining, and
hi, Mom.
So there we go. Okay, so parental units are here to watch us. The regulars are here. So yeah. So folks, big thing. Christy and I talked. I haven't looked at the YouTube because I haven't. This is the first internet connection I've had in 24 hours. And before that, my phone was dead for about a week and a half and couldn't get into anything. So if we go over 100 subscribers on our YouTube, we're going to do a reading show. Once I get back from being God knows where we're going to go next on this investigation.
Yeah. We have we're up to 97, right?
Yeah.
We're at 97. Guys, we need 3. 3. That's all we need. Technically, let's do 5 because then it puts us over 100. But if we reach 100, so many new things open up to us that it'll just be amazing for the show. It'll just be so much nicer for us and just open up doors and windows for us that way. So 3 more subscriptions, you guys, please.
So Micah and Keith, hello. Thank you for tuning in. So please like and share that. I'll get some more stuff up when I get back to back to civilization. So yes, Marilyn, it was a hidden last minute thing. I got invited on.
We're technically supposed to say Mike is on location. So
on location.
It sounds better that way. He's on location.
I will be back on location in another hour. So
excuse me, 2 hours. 2 shows 2 hours long. 2.
Yes, 2.
2, not 1. 2.
I have my green screen on. Lost tonight. All right. Yeah. So
all right.
We've got a great guest tonight. And
he's one of my favorites.
I'm gonna let you introduce our guest. Because he's always fun to hang out with.
Oh my gosh, that's an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah. So
yes.
Marilyn, it's top secret how long I'm in the area for.
Oh.
Also chasing a kidney stone, which may pull me out of the area even sooner. So,
ooh, so if Mike goes blank, we're gonna know, and then it's just all of us guys. So that, but that's okay. We'll have fun on it.
So let's go ahead and bring our guest on. Hello, Jay. Hello, Wendy.
We're going to need all the time we can get with this guy. We could go for hours and hours and hours. So I would like you all to welcome Mr. Tim Shaw to the show tonight. Tim has his hand in just about everything. He is paranormal, cryptid. Tim does things Tim's way. Tim does what he wants, when he wants, when he wants. Tim is a great mentor. Tim is very experienced in many facets of this part of the woods, and we're very excited to have you. So thank you for being here tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And Big Mike, let me tell you something. I've got a length of brake line, some Vaseline, and a hammer. We will take care of that kidney stone, baby. I can do this. I am equipped. I am equipped to do this stuff.
So, guys, this is Tim.
Yeah. Teddy just bumped in, and Ted was with me last night. You're like, you gonna move?
Oh my God.
Baby. Okay. I got the thermal camera. I gotta go.
I know the feeling. Listen, I feel your pain, man. I feel I've gotten rid of, like, if I'm not mistaken, 5 kidney stones altogether, and each one is worse than the other. And I'm just going to tell you, I feel sorry for you. I'm even going to light a candle for you, brother. So that thing. Listen, but I'm just going to warn you. When that thing comes out, just make sure you're not like in a room with a lot of ceramic tile, because it's going to be bouncing all over like ricocheting like a bullet.
Wow.
I'm hoping the screen.
Wow, you even get a candle?
Listen, hey, listen, us guys got to stick together once in a while. You know what I mean?
Shut up. I have to go give birth again with no drugs, okay? Please. No, I've been told by women mothers who have not had any drugs and had completely a natural birth. And they said that the kidney stone was way worse than that. And having done it 3 times myself, I can't even imagine. So yes, This time, I mean, you guys, if you didn't whine about the common cold, maybe we'd have a little more sympathy for you. Just saying. However,
listen, I don't whine. I'm just quiet. It's like, leave me alone. let me lay here and die.
Nancy has it easy.
let me just lay here and die. I don't want anything. Just leave me alone.
Perfect.
I'm going to put the blankets over my head. My earphones are in. Believe me, you know what? Pretend I'm not here. Pretend I'm off on one of my adventures someplace, and I'm not here for 3 days. After that, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to find out how Nancy got you to that point, because
a lot of threatening.
Well, all right. A lot of time, a lot of threats. I'm good at that, so we're good. Thank you, Marilyn.
Yeah. A little fast on the click tonight.
God.
Okay. All right. The occasional language up. That's good.
Sorry, Christy already started it off and already put it to work.
Yeah, we're just us. We just who we are, and we apologize. We do our best to.
Listen, this is not a kiddie show.
No,
I do very well, because for people who really know me and what I can do and how I can be, I do very well here. So I want to hear it.
Listen, I'm proud of you, because I've heard words that, like, even I had to go and stop and look up on the Urban Dictionary that you uttered. So I mean, listen. I was like, what? Hold on.
I'm channeling, that's a whole different ballgame. That does not mean I am not responsible.
You know what was funny? The last thing I did, and they haven't edited it out yet. I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, at the at a hotel, Hotel Monte Vista, as a matter of fact, and we were filming for Portals to Hell, And I've known Kat for years, since the old, Paranormal State days, and Jack Osborne's hysterical. So I'm doing it. I'm doing my thing, and I have, as Christy will tell you, I have no filters whatsoever. I lost those, like, way back when. I do have some filters with you guys, but I mean, there was a time when I was working, it was like almost every second word was an F-bomb. So I was like, we took a break, and I said to Jack, I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I said, my wife even warned me not to drop these F-bombs. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. We swear like pirates here." So I felt right at home. So life was good.
Perfect.
Life was good. But yeah, I'm kind of afraid to see what this thing's going to be like when it comes out, because it was.
Thank God for editing, right?
Oh my God!
You're gonna look like a roadie for his dad.
I could be a roadie for his dad at my age right now. Are you kidding me or what?
God, so
I'd be the guy going, "Hey, is this the mic? Mike, hey Mike, is this the mic?" That's what it'd be. That would be me. Although I did, guys, I did I survived disco. You know what I mean? So
you did, and I've seen pictures of the disco hair on you. So yeah, no, more like I think Nancy survived disco with you.
Disco hair. I had the little porno mustache.
You did. You looked very, very handsome for the times. But I looked at that
for
picture.
For the time.
Yeah,
now it's like within 10 years that hair was gone.
That's so funny.
And by 96, it just wasn't worth keeping anymore. What was left?
So everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. And if you're just joining us, this is Reverend Tim Shaw. And as you see, it's never a dull moment when Tim is in the house. So we're very lucky to have him tonight. He is a phenomenal investigator. He is an author. He has his hand in so many different venues and just different things all the way around. He has an amazing collection of Ouija boards that we're going to hopefully talk about. He has a haunted collection that he does kind of bring on the road and do shows with. And I did a couple of years ago have the opportunity to go see it. What else do you, God, you do so much. It's like, we've been on investigations with him. He has his hand in the cryptid world as well. Or should I say Bigfoot in the cryptid world? Bad joke. But Mike's like, holy crap, really? I go wait for 24 hours. You've been on a gazillion TV shows with all the different experiences that you've had. Your history is incredible as far as the paranormal field goes and your training. So before we start to get into all of this, please share share the heck out of the show tonight. Always share the heck out of the show. And like we were asking earlier too, please subscribe to our YouTube page and help us get the word out about the show and help support us.
And if you don't do it, I'm just going to warn all you listeners out there, you don't do it, there's going to be a little cranky old man underneath your bed with like crazy cannibal teeth. And in the middle of the night, you're going to hear, cha, 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 cha. Listen, not my fault, not their fault. It's your fault for not subscribing to their YouTube. Wow. I'm telling you right now, it's the way it works. It's the way it works, man. I've got about 25 voodoo candles, enough oil to like just lubricate the spirit world. So you're all in trouble if you don't go and subscribe. Which is not, listen, it's not too far off.
He's got a key tub for oil wrestling.
Tim, we're supposed to forget it.
Seriously, a friend of mine came over, and I've got this red cabinet, this little red cabinet, and he goes, "What the hell is it? You got all these cauldrons sitting in front of this red cabinet." He goes, "What the hell do you got in there?" I said, "Well, let's go take a look." And he's looking in there, and he's going, "Why do you have these nails and all this stuff marked graveyard dirt? Why, all this, some kind of skin? What is all this?" I said, "Sometimes it's better that you don't really know what's in there."
A little Silence of the Lambs thing going on there.
Well, listen, you never know when you're going to need something. My daughter comes in one time and she goes, yes. "Dad," I'm looking for a chicken's foot. I said, "Nicole, what are you going to do with a chicken's foot?" She goes, "Well, I want one. It's because it's like good luck. It's like a horseshoe,
Okay.
And she goes, "Well, I wanted one because now, she's getting like disturbed like the old man." And so she goes, and I said, hold on. So I went and I just so happen to have one. And hey, doesn't everybody have one? And
right?
And I said, yeah, I got it. And then she goes, I don't have any dowsing rods, and I said, you don't have dowsing rods? I said, you got to be kidding me. She goes, no, let's go. Went back down into the basement, made her a set of dowsing rods because I have all the materials to make dowsing rods,
Of course you do.
So then she says, well, I don't have a Ouija board. I said, what? She goes, I don't have a Ouija board.
You're the king of Ouija boards. What are you talking about?
I said, you don't have a Ouija board? She goes, no. I said, come on. So I opened up. I've got like 4 trunk loads. I got 4 foot lockers full of Ouija boards, and working on my 5th. And I said, oh, here's one that's still in cellophane, that somebody gave me, or
wow.
There. So So now people, when they come down here, they're like, I don't want to know. I just had a friend of mine deliver some stone for me because I've been working on the drainage on my new house. And he looks, and I've got a glass container, and he's looking in there, and he goes, what is that? And I said, well, it's a shrunken head. He goes, what? I said, yeah, it's over there. It's with my effigy stuff, my Santa Muerte statues, my Papa Canelo statues, Christ, Legba, Marie Laveau, all those statues, and all the other ones. I have all these effigies. He goes, I'm never coming down here again. He says, the beer is upstairs. I'm never coming back down here again. That's it. So that was it. He just didn't want to know anything about anything else. And then I have one oil that we use for certain things that we use that my friend who's a Santeria priest showed me, and it's Destroy Everything, which is one of my favorites. And he saw that. He's like, no. And he goes to me, did I drop any hair? Because I don't want you to have anything.
Wow. Well, I'm going to stay on your good side.
Well, no, you have to have this stuff. It's like, because I'm eclectic, and my belief system is, I identify myself as a spiritualist. I still do. It's what my core beliefs are. But since I left the churches, and I just serve them now. I have so many great friends that are spiritualists. But I'll just say it plainly. I've run crazy. I've gotten crazy. I hang out with hoodoo and voodoo practitioners. I've Santeria, all the different forms of the craft. A great friend of mine was Raymond Buckland, who passed away. Brought the organized Wiccan, I shouldn't say Wiccan religion, but the organized witchcraft here to the United States. He was Gardarian in the beginning, and I learned so much from him. So my influences have varied over the years, and I see the good in everything, and I also see how intent plays like a big part in what we do, and how different objects reinforce intent. So I've got a couple cabinets just full of objects that have all sorts of stuff that we can go and like focus intent on. So just to tell you what, watch that. I'm just going to tell you, if you feel a little something blow up in your bladder, you know what happened.
Great, thanks.
I can't.
You grew up in Lilydale, right? Is that correct?
I didn't grow up. I grew up in Buffalo, but my relatives were all in Lilydale.
Okay.
Reverend Pat Price lives in the house that my relatives owned, and it's right behind. Now it's the historical museum. Back then, it was like a community center and a school. So I spent a lot of time there. I mean, I really did. I spent a lot of summers. I went to a parochial, a Polish Roman Catholic school, from a grammar school, and my last name is Shaw. My mother's name was Riley. So,
there you
go. The nuns used to say, "Take this stuff home and have your parents help you with the Polish," because we used to have to learn Polish songs and that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And they just look at me like, "Huh?" I can still say "Będzie pochwalony tu Chrystus," and greetings like that, because it's kind of beaten into you from grades 2 through 8. But
Holy orders.
But during the summer, I spent a lot of time in the Dale. I spent a lot of time, so I got a chance to hang out with some really fun people, and actually, I got a chance to meet some of like the old timers, the old times mediums, who were just like impressed with. Oh my God. Bridget Farley, Carol Young. These are all people that have died like in the 70s. I hate to
I was going to say,
it.
I don't know any of them. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like who the old timers we considered,
Oh my God. Yeah. Margaret Friedman. I mean, there was a lot of the older ones there. A lot of the visiting mediums are great. Oh my God. They were great. I used to love when they would do indirect voice during church services. You would have two different types of two voices coming out, one out of the mouth, one out of the solar plexus. Transfiguration during some services. I mean, these are things that they really don't really push anymore. There's a resurgence now because I just talked to one of the secretaries. Well, my friend actually is now secretary of the National Spirit Association of Churches, and I was told that seance and physical phenomena is starting to be, I won't say encouraged, but the stigma has kind of gotten taken away from it, because you have in spiritualism, you have two ages. You've got the golden age of the late 1800s going to the early 1900s, of course. And then you have the golden age of fraud, which was the 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., where a lot of people were really, just doing it for the money, sideshow. There are a lot of carny tricks going on. So,
right.
Yeah, so they the churches seem to sweep a lot of physical phenomena and seance and all that under the table, and they kept it like on the on the down low, but they really didn't encourage it, except like some of the places in the Dale, some of the old timers. So it was really neat to be able to meet some of those people. And I mean, I went to my first children's seance. I was about 12 years old. 11, 12 years old, and it's done during the middle of the day and stuff. And it's neat, because you get a chance to go and figure out for yourself what might be real, what's not real. You got to start looking for what may be fraudulent. And what it was to go and prepare you not to be afraid of manifestation and that sort of thing. So, it was a great education. Of course, I mean, I got my feet wet, like not in talking boards, but it was the yes, no answers with the, with the wine glasses and that sort of thing.
I'm still here. Sorry.
Well, we love you and we don't want you to ever leave, ever.
I don't know what he's doing.
But
okay.
You don't want to know. Sometimes
you weren't supposed to make it blow up while he was on the air. I mean, I'm just going to put that out there. We weren't supposed to make him suffer in front of everybody. Okay.
Listen. What happens on Where's My Sage stays on Where's My Sage.
That's
the way it works.
You must hydrate if you're going to hike all the time, and I did not hydrate enough today. Leg is killing me.
Listen.
So that spiritualism, then having all these different things, and as we are Where's My Sage, and we kind of try to bring everybody in to experience everything.
Yeah.
There was a question up above. I lost it, and I'll have to find it again later. But it was similar to looking at voodoo and looking at the spiritualism and all that. And as we grow and we learn and we talk to folks like yourself, do you find a lot of commonality at the base, at the root?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Base root is intent and love thy neighbor. I'm going to tell you that right now. Those are the basic tenets of everything right across the board. And I think that's why I could embrace so many different traditions as easily as I did, is because it's all the same. You got different deities, you got different stuff. Listen, people dancing around, naked with a fire with a dead chicken, whatever, you start seeing this stuff, but what's the reason for it? Ancestor worship is huge in almost all the traditions. They don't do it so much in Roman Catholicism, but you venerate the saints, which is practically the same thing.
Right.
And there's so much. I had gone to a lecture many years ago. I was going to say not too long ago, but it was probably about 15 years ago.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. Nothing. Let me tell you, nothing. It was presented by the past president of the National Spirit Association of Churches, and she had married a former Jesuit theologian, and he was still teaching at Georgetown at the time. And they were actually, the lecture was all about comparing spiritualism with Roman Catholicism and the mysteries of Catholicism. And by the time I was done with this whole thing, the only difference between anything was the belief that Jesus Christ is God. That's a big thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot that's different. And I went up to him and I asked him, I said, geez, tell me, how can I reconcile with all these, attributes of mediumship? And, how do they really fit? And he looked at me straight laced and goes, read about the life of the saints, and you'll see that these people were the greatest mediums of all time. And I started looking at it, and then I'm looking at, by location, and the name, the titles might be different, the terms might be different, but what the actions are were the same. And it just went right down the line. So outside of the divination of Christ, that's about it. And it depends on what form of spiritualism you find or you follow, because there is Christian spiritualism,
right?
And that fits in perfectly. So it was kind of mind blowing when you started thinking about it. And Marilyn Autry, who was one of the original founders of the Morris Pratt Institute of Continuing Spiritualist Education, she had written the book "A River Runs Through It" or something of that nature. And in the back, she has what the number one common belief is, love, treat each other equally, and that sort of thing. And she had it in every tradition you could think of, love thy neighbor as thyself. And it was amazing. It was just amazing. And I really, at that point, that's when I said, you know what, there's no right or wrong. People believe what they want to believe, whatever. It's all good, but you got to look at the basic, because my belief system is radically different from modern spiritualists now.
Right.
And it's radically different from a lot of the craft. It's radically different from the hoodoo and voodoo friends, because mine is just all about energy. Mine is reading energy. I don't, I lost the ability to actually see subjectively, because I was trained as a gallery reader right off the bat, right from a kid. And
what is that?
What happened was I was picked as a kid when I went to Lyceum, which is a Sunday school, the spiritualist Sunday school, and they picked certain people that they saw had, I won't say promise, but they had a penchant for perhaps being a little bit more flamboyant. And me having such a large mouth and an ego the size of Rhode Island,
that or comedian.
They started working gallery. They wanted me to work as a message server in the churches. That's what I started training as. To this day, I hate doing one-on-one readings, because it's far harder for me to do a one-on-one reading than it is for me to get in front of. When I do casino gigs, I do anywhere between 60 to 210 people, It doesn't bother me. I can shoot it. I can work the room. I understand what's going on. Spirit is just slamming me. I don't have time to even think. It's just pablum coming out, it's just bang, 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 bang.
I do.
And, I don't have that ability anymore to see like aura, but it's like, what is the essence of it? So that's why I'm more of I work pure energy. When I do a walkthrough, I'm bombarded by like all these spirit essences of personalities and all that, bombarded. And I'm like this, shut up. And I'm just looking for the most direct. I'm looking for the strongest, unless I'm looking for somebody in particular. But normally it's just, I want to know just that. And I don't care about anything else. I'm like this. Not happening today, not happening tomorrow. Walk away from me. Find somebody else to talk. But otherwise, my brain would be like mush and chaos. Because that's the way I'm wired. I can't I'm one of those people that can't read and have like a radio on with a song that has words because I can't concentrate. That's just the way I am. So to have 1,001 energetic thoughts coming in at once is like, no. And I just cut it off. And that's just the way I work, you know. And some people are like, oh my God, you're doing a disservice. No, I'm not doing a disservice. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's what I'm trained to do.
Exactly.
And you know, you're looking for that. And that goes back to the galleries, because when you're working gallery, you do message work, you're not given full readings, you're given that you've got to, and you're trained to do 3 to 4 readings in 12 minutes. That's all you have. That's your time allotted during church. So you've got to get those out.
Yep.
You got to get identifier. You got to get all this other stuff out there, you know, so that people know what the hell you're talking about. And if you don't, then you failed. And so that's why I'm so like into one thing. And that's why I look for the most strongest vibration I can find, you know, that's what you look for. But that's just me, and I'm not right. So.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to say that, you know, anybody who tries to tell you that, you know, things have to be one way or not, stay away from them. And that's what I tell the people that mentor with me. You know, you're going to mentor with me, you're going to get the foundation that I'm going to help you build, but that's just my thing. Everybody needs a foundation, and then you're going to take it and you're going to do what's right with you. I always go back to my dental background. You know, when I was in dental assisting school, the teachers told you,
I didn't know you were
learning general dentistry.
I got a little something back here, Kirsty. A little something working over here. You want to see it?
See, you don't pay attention when I talk. You know I'm a dental assistant. I don't do it anymore, but you knew I was a dental assistant. Oh, see, Ben, you just don't pay attention. What the heck is wrong with you? Yeah. You and everybody else in my family has something wrong with their teeth. I know, I got you.
But no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And the one thing that I haven't taught classes in a couple of years because I've just been so busy, and I miss it. But the one thing that I said, the same thing that you do, you know what? Just take the basis, just learn the basis, and then, you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you're going to go look for more. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I make, because I'm an imperfect being. You know, we're all imperfect, and we all have a certain way of doing things. Now, I had a instructor at one of the churches that I used to belong to, who hated me, despised me. And I would go to class there, you know, take their, you know, and she was just like miserable and just nasty. And anything I did was wrong. Everything I did was wrong. And, you know, it was like, at that point, it's like, you can't drive a square peg into a round hole. Everybody's got to go and really find their place out there in the universe, which is why I have eventually left the organizations. I just became, you know, someone, you know, out there in the streets wandering aimlessly, and
like the rest of us. I gotcha.
Well, no, but it's true. It's true, because what happens is inevitably when you join an organization, and the one thing I always tell people is organizations are created by man for control and keeping that organization moving. That's all it is. That's all they are. They forget about the will and the wants of the congregation, and they are more about, you know, control.
Right.
And your spirituality is a covenant between you and your deity, or your God, or your belief, or whatever.
Right.
So if I had stayed where I was, I would not have had all the great experiences that I've had, and met so many wonderful people and learned so much. And I don't think I would have evolved to that point where I would consider myself happy. You know, I'll be 63 this on the 4th, and man, I am not happy about that. But you know, but
you don't look a day over 75. Don't worry about it.
I
meant 21.
I feel 75. You don't know what you're talking about, young lady. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
Take two gefilte fish. Take 2 gefilte fish. Call me in the morning, lady. Right. That's all my Jewish friends. I have the craziest friends. I went to temple one time, and I'm in there, and I thought it was fascinating because I like the way, you know, their belief, and they're not belief in heaven or hell. You know, they have different beliefs than Roman Catholicism and some of the other ones were like we have the Summerland and all that. I thought it was fascinating. And it was so funny because they're like this going, you know what you need? More humor. I just was like, oh my God, any more humor, I'm going to get struck by lightning. But yeah, that it's a big thing. And I'd have to, like, if I was still part of organizations, I would be pigeonholed and I couldn't do that. I couldn't be effective. I mean, right. Some of the work I've done with a lot of negative cases, which right now, I've got like 3 sitting here and that's all I can handle. I can't handle any more than that now at one time.
Honestly, I didn't even realize you were doing that anymore. The last I had known you were away from that completely.
Well, I stopped it because of all the surgery and stuff I've had. And right. I take selective cases that I know for a fact something may be going on.
Good to know. I mean, I don't send enough.
Yeah, and
the way as it is.
Hey, listen. I got my buddy Fred over there. Yeah, he's my go-to man.
Yeah, I know he is.
When I get overwhelmed, he gets them. There you go, Fred. Yeah. Good. Go get him, buddy.
Do you see any residual effects from doing those cases?
Yes. Yeah, and I was warned early on. First of all, if you read Martin's Hostage to the Devil, Malachi Martin's Hostage to the Devil, you'll automatically understand that anybody that does this work has residual problems. And it does, true exorcist, it cuts their life short. And I've worked with it. I've worked with 2. And for me, I was talking with the demonologist Johnny Zaffis, who's a good friend of mine, and we were. I don't know him,
but I just love his show, and I just love his energy.
I just love that guy. He's my hero, and we've. You know what? Here's what happens. We're at a conference. One of us has to do something stupid. We take turns.
Really? Just one?
Just one. The other one has to help the other one get back to the room, but that's another
true. Story. Okay, fair. That's fair.
Right? But no, he's a great guy, and he actually mentored me a lot. And he told me that he knew Malachi, and he said that this stuff shortens your life. And what I have is a little rare. It's not an everyday occurrence. What I had, all the surgery and stuff, and I think I probably had it, but I think it was, the energy, the negative energy, I kind of fed right into it and blew it right up. Yeah, that I do believe that's a lot of it.
I've just
it's for the higher good, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
a couple of friends come back with a little residual blowback. And it's like, hey, you want to come help us with it? No, thank you. I am not trained enough, nor am I ready to step down that path. But.
Well, here's the bottom line. I tell everybody, you want to do that stuff, you better not have any fear. I don't have any fear of it. I'm not. I walk out into traffic and like expect cars to stop for me. You know what I mean? That's what type of guy I am, and I don't have that fear, because if you have fear, that's your chink in the armor, and that's what it's.
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I always fumble that, but I know the line. That's your line. You just said it last night too.
It's got swearing in it, so I won't repeat it. But
no, we have a special banner for that.
Right.
Explicit language.
Oh, okay. Yea, though I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because I am the meanest son of a bitch in the valley. You know what?
You have to have that mentality.
You do, because of the fact that, and it's like when ghost hunting really started to blossom, and Jason and Grant and everything before they blew up, and before everything got really crazy, they set a standard for people that watch TV and were like, in the craft circles, the late Raymond Buckland would call them fluffy bunnies. They don't go. They don't go, and they don't provoke. And fluffy bunnies won't go, and they don't do anything negative. Everything is love and light and everything. And see, in order, the way I was taught, Yeah, the way I was taught was you have to walk a fine line, but you have got to live in the darkness in order to understand the darkness. You've got to live in the light to understand the light. So when you do that and you understand it, you become effective. And early on, people were like, "Oh, I got scratched. Oh, why did you do that to me?" No, you don't do that. You come back and you're there for a specific reason. You're there to aid a family. I did spirit rescue circles back when I was a teenager. I was young when they asked me to come along with them, and these mediums were brutal. They'd be going, "Why are you here? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Are you afraid?" I mean, they would just get like loud and stuff.
Wow.
And I did that once, and like people were like, "You're poking the devil. Let's go. Get out. Everybody out, 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 out." And I'm thinking to myself, well, first off, I don't believe in the devil, so I don't have anybody to poke. But but what happens is you're there for a specific reason. And even the exorcists, man, they get brutal. They can get brutal. And they're there for a specific reason too. And that's I learned that you can't like it's like a prison mentality sometimes. If you got something bad, you're either prey or you're the predator. Okay. And you've got to make sure that you can strike the balance between that and go and do the job at hand. And everything is different. I mean, every case is different.
Right.
But it's up to you to strike that balance. And also, the other thing is time is at an essence. I had a case. I always talk about this. I had a case up in Sodus Bay, New York. That's I don't know how many hours away. Go up there, do the thing. Nothing happens. Get in the car. We're all coming home. 2 hours into the trip, cell phone rings. The house is in an uproar. Turn around, go back, do the thing. Everything's quiet. Come back. 2-3 hours. We're almost home. The thing goes up. Why is that? Why is that? Because we didn't do it right. We didn't do it. We weren't effective. First off, if it's negative, just because they're dead doesn't mean that they're stupid. And really, you get something. You get some kind of negative energy in there that parasitic nature. They can hide. They can do nasty stuff, and they're like chameleons. I call them the Eddie Haskells of the spirit world. Oh, hi. Oh, Christy, may I say that you're looking rather nice today? And they're like, I can't wait to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like. And so you got to be effective. So with me, I don't think twice about provoking. I know my limit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid, but I know my limit, how far I can go because I can feel the energy. I can feel that energy starting to flux. And, but you have to do it right, and you can't be afraid of it. You can't, and too many people are doing this as a thrill ride now. When we were doing it with the, through the spirit, through the churches and early on, it was deadly serious stuff. For the most part, it wasn't nasty or anything, but it was just so Aunt Edna was wandering around bumping into things. But now you've got people that it's like they want to be part of a haunted house, like a commercial haunted house, and they want this stuff. They want it bad. And I always tell them, be careful what you wish for, because you may get this. And if you're not prepared for it, see, I'm at that point where it's like, Fred will tell you that I'm a different cat when it comes to like protection and all that. I mean, I'm just like, no, and spanned out. But if you're not careful and if you didn't mentor under somebody, or you're just doing this for the fun of it, for thrills, for poops and giggles, you can bring stuff home with you. And usually if you bring an attachment home that lasts about 4 days and it dissipates or gets bored with you or whatever, but you don't want that even for 4 days, because it does affect you. And the minute that you have any kind of fear, it reinforces the fear. And in the next situation, I always tell people that whenever I go into a dark room in a house that's active, every horror movie that I've ever seen in my life spins through my mind. It's like The Exorcist. Linda Blair's spinning around and stuff.
Right.
I just kind of take it in stride. But a lot of people start getting that apprehension. The minute you get the apprehension, that opens the door. So you got to be so careful. And a lot of times there are things out there that are benign that can turn real nasty. I mean, again, you're talking the essence of a personality and the essence of an ego. They could be nice people, but they can have really nasty egos. So you've got to be able to go and be careful. The other thing is if you're perceived as a threat,
fight you.
That's huge, man. That's huge, because if they perceive you as a threat, you know what? They're going to open up a can of whoop ass on you. And if they can't get a hold of you, they can't hurt you. They're going to go after the next person in your family or your friend's circle or the team or whatever you're working with. And they're going to work through it if it's that strong.
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you something. You know what? I got pulled in on a case that had that. And what was unique about it was it was benign, but it didn't want to leave, and the people wanted it to leave. And I'm just trying to, and that's where education comes in. It's like you gotta understand, if you just let it make some noise, it ain't gonna bother you. Just say, "Shut up! What's wrong with you? Shut up!" And if you do that, 9 out of 10 times it's quiet. It doesn't. Sometimes the entity doesn't really understand that it's making the noise or that it's bothering you. But if it doesn't want to leave, there's a good chance it's not going to leave, or it's going to become dormant and then reappear after a certain amount of time, especially intelligence. I had something like that on the reservation. I actually passed the case on to an elder, and he took care of it. And almost I think it was 12 years, started up in the house again. Yeah. So we don't know why or how, but that's the reason. We don't understand it. So we've got to be able to go, and you got to be careful with it, but you got to know your limitations, because because sometimes I'm stupid, and I'll go and I'll push some buttons, and you got to expect it. Yourself, the pushing, the pulling. I still got a scar on my forearm here from a scratch I got 2 years ago. Wow. And but you got to know your limitations, and people don't, unfortunately, some of the, and I love a lot of people that are coming up in the ranks, because the more people that are doing it, the more, people are thinking out of the box, and they're working in different ways and manners and means. But for every group like that, you've got some groups out there that it becomes a social club. Yeah. And that's all it's for. It's not spiritual. It's not for science. It's just a social club. And you got to watch that, because those are the ones that get in trouble.
Well, and that's just it. It really bothers me when people form these groups or these investigative teams, and, they cross my path, and I ask questions because as mediums, we have very different responsibilities. Yeah, you're right. We are held to a different expectation and a higher expectation. It's not an egotistical one. It's that we have a job to do. Our understanding goes much deeper and is greater. And people who just decide to pick it up as a hobby, or because they tell me they're interested, make me very nervous, because when you start asking them questions, even simple tours, not simple that they're not serious, but the Statler. I mean, you and I have been at the Statler together a few times, and
and we were and we were beautiful. I'm going to tell you something. We were beautiful. Yeah. We were beautiful. We were beautiful.
Thank you. You were just as beautiful.
I try. I got some stuff for my puffiness from the bags underneath my eyes now. So,
I did too. Look, I put it on today. So.
I haven't gotten that far in my life. I've been working on the house today. So you guys are lucky you guys are lucky. I changed my shirt.
Oh, I came right from the woods, and I'm going right back to the woods. You can probably smell me from 5 miles away.
Done. It's 7:00 tonight. Okay, that's it. Otherwise, the hair was clean, but it was pulled back, and there was no makeup all day. So I did this for all of you.
I appreciate you both going over the education thing, because I had a talk with a Catholic priest once, and I said, what do you know about exorcism and stuff like that? And he goes, well, I took a class when I had to. He goes, but I have people to call when I don't know what to do. He goes, well, most of the time, I get people to move, or I got to call the big guy again. Because
true. I mean, it's true.
And I was talking to him because, I don't know, they might even touched on Chris DeCesare's thing. Because where I was at the time talking in Geneseo, and I know you followed up on that case and wrote a book on it.
You wrote a book on that.
We're all friends with Chris, and
Chris is a great guy. Yeah.
So,
but but the bottom line is that's why, it's, you got to be able to go whenever you're and I listen, I'm nothing special, man. I'm just, I'm basically a fart in the wind, that's what I am basically. And when it comes down to what we do, you've got to almost go and push yourself a little bit more than what you see on TV. You've got to be able to go and it's more than what you see, you go on a public hunt or something. It's almost got to be on I hate to say spiritual level, although science is spiritual. It's a form of belief. And you've got to be able to go and you got to be able to have some kind of solid base so that the relevancy will resonate within you, and then you don't have that fear. Yesterday we were talking about on my show seance, and Christy is going to be helping me out so long as the museum
right.
We're be open. We're gonna be working.
We'll be doing it all from a distance.
Yeah, 6 feet away. Don't touch me. Stay on the other side. But
honest to God,
hey,
right.
Hey, listen. I've done weirder stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, well, I saw your show last night. I was like, oh, what's he doing tonight? I'm like, shit, I should probably pay attention to this one.
I'll send you my notes. I'm updating my notes. My notes are like from 10 centuries ago, so I have to go. I'm working on them now.
Yeah, but you know what? It was very interesting, and I learned a lot. It was great. I really found it very interesting. Informative.
There's a certain way of doing it. There's a certain way. There's certain terms that we have to learn, and that's it. There's nothing that and you don't even have to be a medium to do this stuff. You really don't. But you have to kind of, you don't want to like jump into this, because I remember when I was a kid, my parents did it at a friend's house, and the candle on the table would blow out and relight itself. And then, of course, the table would spin and stuff. And I remember that as a little kid. I mean, I was probably, oh my God, I was probably about like 9 years old, just before I started going, and we started going to Lilydale and with the relatives there.
Yeah.
And I remember all that. So you got to really kind of watch yourself. There's some do's and don'ts. And then, you just, it's a simple thing. And the Victorians really made it very procedural. You know what I mean? It's got had a lot of heavy etiquette to it. And what I follow is what they actually have, the way I was taught, which is like a post-Victorian age, method. And it harkens back. It's still formulated, but it's fun. Those are fun things to do. And before we do it, we're gonna like almost break quarantine, and we'll have to go and visit maybe Joe's place or whatever, and just work with the. Hey, listen, we'll put masks on. You guys can have the surgical mask. I'll have like the. See, you're there. You're there already.
You're going to go with the period one with the
right.
The nose, the beak. Got to stuff some herbs in there so I don't get the plague.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll either get high or sneeze a lot then, right?
Yeah, really. But I mean, we'll practice. So, but I mean, I would never put you guys, put you guys in a lurch in a situation you've never at least tried once, and you'll see how easy and how common it is. And it's not going to be anything that's going to be that you can't. Well, I mean, you can't. You'll handle it. I mean, it's easy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you heard. I mean, it was last night was like probably an hour and a half class that I teach.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic.
With the show and tell stuff, and the and all the antiques and the the different things and the precipitated paintings and automatic writing and all that, all the different things that we work in the planchers. So, I mean, there's so much that you can follow, but it's easy. It's not that hard. Believe me. You'll just be like this going, why am I here?
So
why am I here?
So for the rookie on this side of the room, the history then is that the Victorian end coming out of where? Is it coming out of France, coming out of England, or Russia?
It came out of England.
Okay.
A lot of it, especially because of the protocol of it.
Okay.
You had two different types. You had seances for the common people, which would have been just like everybody hanging out, calling spirits in, that sort of stuff. And then you had the very upscale, and that the upper classes, and that was very Victorian, very, very Victorian. And I think I talked about it last night, where these people would be sitting there in their luxury house, and they would have this sumptuous dinner, and they would all be dressed in black. Everybody be dressed in black, and they would eat roast beef and steaks and stuff like that, and drink red wine, and have like cheeses that were very, very sharp, and everything was like rather dark. And then they would go, and the medium would play a piano if there was one there, and they'd be singing religious songs, of course, while the rank and file, the poor servants, would have to clear everything off the table. And then they would go to their rooms and come back dressed in white. And then they would have the second course, where they would have chicken, and they would have white wine, and everything was lighter. And then they would again start singing these songs, and they would, after the table had been cleared, they would go and gather around the table, and then they would go into a formalized seance where they introduced themselves, and they had the prayers, and did the calling in of the spirits, and it would go. It's sort of something like that would go on, and so it's like it was very, very. It was brought over through the Victoria, or through the English, but of course we all know it started. Spiritualism started here in, was it 1849 in Hydesville, New York. I couldn't think. My brain shut off for a second. And it became one of the fastest growing religions in the United States, and it spread throughout the world. It really did. But you had Mesmer, Franz Mesmer, and you had Planchet in France that was dabbling in all this. You had so many philosophers. You had Swedenborg. All this fed into the movement. And at that time, they had Chautauquas, which were like little lectures. Like we have the Chautauqua Lake assemblies here, where they bring in authors and intellectuals, and they do presentations. They did the same thing, but they went from town to town, and those were called Chautauquas. And that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the radical thought movement. And then you had, like, again, at the same time, what was going on, you have the Mormons in Palmyra, 23 miles away.
I was just going to ask, that's a really funky area. And
yeah, you've got the Millerites, which turned into Seventh-day Adventists. You have the Oneida Free Love community, where Oneida, it turned into the Oneida, silverware. And
right.
They're that company, but it was all free love. It was philosophical. You had, Mother Ann Lee with the Shaker movement, the Quakers, and it was crazy. That's why they call that whole area from Albany coming into Buffalo it's called the Burned Over District. And there was so much that was going on at that time, and the influences were unbelievable. And spiritualism just about died out until the American Civil War, and people lost, entire towns lost, just about all their men, basically, and because of the war, and because of the way it was a meat grinder, and they needed some kind of solace, because their bodies weren't brought back. A lot of times they were just put in, slit trenches and stuff, and they if you weren't an officer, they really didn't try to identify you; they just threw you in. So it's. People needed that. People needed to be able to go and know that their loved ones were safe, and they were they were back, healthy in spirit. So the one thing I've noticed is that spiritualism, if you graft it out, almost died out. Civil War, it peaked. After the Civil War, it started to disappear a little bit. Then it started up again You got the Indian Wars. You got the Spanish-American Wars. Then, of course, you got World War I, which really peaked it up, and it came down a little bit. And then it's not talked a lot about in World War II, but it is something that it started to go back up in World War II. You got the Korean War. You had Vietnam, and you had the age of Aquarius, that kicked it really into high gear to where we are now. So in times of uncertainty of financial, social unrest, and political unrest, you start seeing metaphysics and the belief systems of spiritualism and like religions peak. And and we're in one of those peaks right now, because it's amazing, because just a few years ago, I would, if I did a service, I'd get, 9 people. That's enough. 9 people. I'm happy. I talk to rock, so it doesn't matter to me. And but now,
hey, so does Mike.
Hey, it's a good thing.
Sorry.
Hey, be nice.
My
be
bad.
Nice. Listen, don't mess with the guy with the kidney stone. He can throw some voodoo shade at you without even trying and not even knowing that he's doing it.
Bring it on.
But yeah, true. That's what I say too.
Bring it on.
That's why I've got mirrors in my windows, and I've got all my other stuff on the sills and stuff. Bring it on.
Sorry.
But but it's just something that you have to really watch, and you start seeing it. And now, of course, I just did a stump service over at Dragonfly Studio and Salon, and we were outside and we were following all the distancing and everything, and they sold tickets to it because of the fact that they had to limit the amount of people there. They sold like 25 tickets, and people were mad because they couldn't go to it. And I'm seeing that more and more people are taking are looking into more metaphysical and spiritual reasons, trying to, I guess, cope with what's going on, and they're looking for those answers. And it just makes so much sense when I start looking at the periods that we're going through. So historically, we're in one of those peaks where I think that as metaphysicians, we have a responsibility to try to go and get their minds off stuff. That's why your show, you guys have an important show, because of the fact that you go and you bring out guests and you make people think differently, and you get the gray matter flowing. But it's important for people to do that, especially now, because we're bombarded by so much negativity. Social media is that's like social media is the devil. If there's a devil, it's social media. But and the devil is my friend, because I love social media. Wow. But
you talk about the number and the mark. This is the worst thing. This was dead for 2 weeks. You can't do anything without your cell phone number anymore.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. Emails your cell phone number. You can't do anything out with that number.
Yeah. So it's so important now, and that's why early on I you guys know I was on CBS for a couple of years, and I had that live internet show for 12, and then I stopped because I was just so tired, and everybody was doing it, and
right.
I had so much other stuff. I had other different work that I had to do, and I had to learn some stuff. I had to take that break so that I personally could work on some growth. And luckily, I found a shaman that understood crazy, and he enlightened me a little bit. But the big thing is that all of a sudden one day, somebody on Facebook reached out to me, and it was like, and I feel so bad for her because she's such a great person, but she suffers from depression, and everything that's going on right now was just getting her down, and she's just a beautiful person. And I said, I thought to myself, what can I do to help these people? What can I do? And that's why I resurrected the Black Cat Lounge. I put it out there, and I just thought, well, I'm going to throw it out there and let people go, and just for an hour, not think about what's going on in the news, but not think about this disease that's ravaging, the populations of the nation, not think about politics, not think about, nobody's working here. I don't want any money for it. Let's just have fun.
Right.
I'll pull some crap out of my case and we'll talk about it. And I'll teach. And I'll be honest with you, I was supposed to be teaching media or seance up at the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan Paracon this year. And since it was canceled, which was the perfect thing to do,
right.
Why not share it? Right. Why not share it? And that's why I threw it on last night. I just want to go and just make people just understand that there's more to what's going on. Things here in Western New York have kind of leveled out and people have some breathing room, but I'm looking ahead and I'm looking into the fall and I'm not happy with what I project forward to.
Me too.
And it's going to be important that people have that little bit of like breathing room, something that they can look forward to like once a week where it's like, these people make perfect sense. They're not right, but they make perfect sense,
So real quick, Tim, though, tell for people who don't know, tell them what the Black Cat Lounge is. Explain that.
Well, the Black Cat Lounge is
plug yourself.
Plug myself.
Yeah, that too.
There we go. The Black Cat Lounge is actually it started out as a theater of the mind. I went and I had just finished a gig with CBS Sky Radio out of Detroit, and it was a reading show, an interview show, and I had just finished with them, and I got offered a spot for free to go and do a little radio show on Para X Radio, and I said, well, that's cool, we'll do it. And I loved it because of the fact I used to have I had like canned noise, background noise, where like it sounded like I was in a restaurant and stuff. And that's like we were doing this whole thing in a restaurant. People would email me, go, I want to go and watch you do the show live. I'm thinking to myself, I'm up in my spare bedroom in my underwear in real life, That's how I'm doing this show. But
COVID normal.
really, it is now. Back then it wasn't. But it was a great vehicle to launch, and through there, I got a chance to really talk to some really wonderful people. I got a chance to talk to a man who was freed by Nelson Mandela, along with all these unbelievable people, and oh my God, Derek Acora, who is one of the late Derek Acora was one of the craziest mediums of his time. But I got a chance to talk to him, and he was really good. I think he might have been in the back when we were talking when I was interviewing him. But nice. I got a chance to really, talk to great people like that, and then I got a chance to showcase like teams that were just like paranormal teams that were just starting out. So it was a great gambit, and from there, that's where I got picked up for to do a few pilots, and then I started doing Cameo, and then I'm doing, different things on different TV shows and stuff because of that. And now it's like, it's so great, because I get a chance to go and just throw it out there. And I got to tell you what, your intro is so spiffy. I am so jealous. We're going to be talking, but I am like super jelly of your intro. So I'm going to be like I got to figure out how to do that now, because I am not of this century.
Could you please not encourage him?
Yeah. Oh no, you did a great job. I loved it because you need that, because what I'm missing.
He did do a fantastic job.
Oh, you did.
Oh, Mike, I can't take any credit for that. He did a fantastic job.
I'll tell you about the intro and outro in a minute.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, because I was brought up that you should be professional, and like I just turned my computer on and boom, I'm there.
There it is. Right.
You should, but you should have an intro. You should have an outro. These are all things, because I volunteer up at Lockport Cable. I produce and direct and do all some crazy stuff up there for not-for-profits, which I miss. That's probably the only thing.
How do you like the energy in that studio?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I love it. Man. But you know what? If they're nurturing there and they're just so nice, and every time I mess up, nobody cares. Oh no,
I don't mean that. I mean the fact, the energies that are there.
The energies.
The building.
But I think it's the
crazy
people
there.
I think the people in there that run it really are doing a lot of things for the right reason. And again, I love the fact that I get a chance to help. I'm not like, as a volunteer guy, I'm not like one of these people that could walk up and knock on your door and give you a meal. There's no way I'm a meal and wheel guy, you know. I am just not. I don't like people that much. So it's like really.
People, but
No, you know what I mean. You know, it's like no. No. Excuse me.
How come we healers tend to say that more than anybody I know?
I think no. I think the problem is
that have the issue.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the fact that we care so much.
Yeah.
That we don't understand when people are negative or just nasty type.
Yep.
And you know, it's hard for me.
It's hard to deal with.
Empathically, it's hard for me to deal with that. It really is. Because I kid because I worked for the town of Cheektowaga for 34 and a half years. Right. And like that's like they used to send me out in the worst jobs because they knew I just
you could just do it.
Yeah, I just don't talk to me. Just leave me alone. Listen, I used to tell them I'm on a work release program. Talk to one of the full timers over there. I used to tell them I just got out of jail or something, so that people wouldn't talk to me. But I did. But it worked.
I believe it.
I think the big thing is as a healer. I mean, I do care too much. I do. I really. I feel that what I'm doing is sacred. Yeah. Very, very sacred. And I don't understand, and I'll be honest with you, I don't understand people really hating each other. You know, I don't understand this because I was the victim of like bullying and, you know, in this field. I had I had a guy put like a web page up about how much he hated me, you know, and I never even met this guy, you know.
Really?
And, oh yeah, you know.
How can I hate you?
Well, but you know what? Every time I got a TV gig, it was that he used to, you know, make up stories and all that. But I never understood that, and I still have a problem with it. And I try to treat people. You know, I may like be outlandish and crazy, but I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. I mean, I really try. It's hard sometimes. I'm one of those guys like you know, I'm like thanking the cashier for working, you know, thank you so much because, you know, I'm getting my food here and you're working as an essential worker. You know, I appreciate that. And, you know, I mean, it's just, to me, it's a mystery how people can be just hate each other the way they do, you know, and, you know, and especially now with the violence and everything, it really, that I got to tell you what, most things don't bother me, but I got to say that the past month, my energy has been like all over the place. And I feel a lot of it is not so much watch what I see on TV, but the feelings that people have and that hatred that's going to be brought out. And that I believe that's why, you know, I think that's why I always say I hate people because I have a lot of people I know, but I have a very, very small group of friends. Very small, you know.
I agree.
And now you're my friend. Now you guys are my inner circle. You guys are going to get it now. I'm sending you a subscription to my magazine for $29.95. You guys are going to go and get 12 blank pages. You listen. I don't like you so much. You can go and you can write your own stories.
We're in the big leagues, Mike.
I'm sorry. I can't.
So
you know what? I'm built. The way I'm built is that it's a natural defense. It really is for me because I find humor something that the church has lacked.
Yes.
When I was coming up
the Catholic Church, yes,
and even the spiritualist church, it's like, you know, take the duct tape off your butt already. You know, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Oh, you're a spiritualist reverend.
So
you know, exactly. You know, that's the way I feel.
Yeah, that's I know.
Because most people don't practice what they preach, and that's what drives me insane. So, I mean, I use humor to really disarm people, and sometimes, you know, I use humor as a mirror, you know, for them to look at themselves. And sometimes that's all that takes is just for them to understand that, you know what, you can't take yourself as seriously as you are. Maybe you gotta. You know, you can't like bully somebody. You can't be that person at work that everybody hates. You know, you got maybe you got to go and you got to think about something else to do. And you know, absolutely. And that's why I use a lot of humor. That and the fact that I get a chance to I throw candy at the audience and I like hitting people in the head with it.
I'm coming to your next gallery.
Yeah.
You can
Have you
never the candy? I'm still gonna eat it.
Well, seriously, you've never been. Oh my God, I'm so
no. The one that you did, I was working the fair, so I had my own. I was actually a reader, so I couldn't go.
What I did, what I like to do is, and the reason why I started doing that was the fact that in the casinos, we call the 9 o'clock gallery the drunk gallery, and everybody takes a turn in the drunk gallery. Everybody gets that. Everybody gets that time in the barrel.
Right.
And at the drunk gallery, it's hysterical because people they're primed. They're primed, and you get like up to 100 people at something like this. And you can't be unflappable. You can't let them like control you because I've seen mediums shut right down, and you can't do that. People paid. First of all, I always feel people paid hard-earned money to see you.
Yep.
So you've got to, showmanship is something that's never been taught in the churches, and showmanship is so important because in order to get your message across, you have got to be able to get out there and put on a little bit of show. So I like celebrating. So like at the last stump service, we missed Mardi Gras. So I celebrated Mardi Gras. So I had everybody singing When the Saints Go Marching In. I was throwing beads. And I was warning guys not to like lift up their shirts because these guys were all ready to start doing that,
Those are the best services. I mean,
those are fun.
Doesn't matter what religion or you go to. I mean, you go in and you find that. What am I looking at? That deacon, that priest, that rabbi that can, can just throw that little bit in. He hooks you in. I mean,
well, that's what you want. And my big thing is this. This was the very first one of the year, and I had made up my mind last year after doing so much that I was going to cut way back this year. And I have, out of necessity, of course. It's like, hi, Tim, we can't use you this year. Have a great summer. I'm like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll sit in the backyard. I'll count my toes. Don't worry about it. I got enough stuff to do. But, it was my talk was about change, and I do a different type of service. I don't like to go and be too preachy,
right?
But I have an intro, and I do a lot of quotes. I love quotes because there are far more like smarter people than me out there in the world that have said things that actually mean something, So I do a lot of quotes, but if this last one was all about change and what we're going through and what we have to face, and change is hard, and how we have to be able to go and we can overcome anything that's hits you or it comes your way. A good friend of mine is a former Marine. He's a retired Marine sergeant. And we talked about one day, it was all about what they used to call embrace the suck. And it's like overcoming your situation and keeping that positive attitude. You're overcoming. Let's go, gung ho. Yeah, let's do this. It sucks out here, but we're gonna do this.
Right.
And that was all part of it. That was all part of the message. And if one person, because I threw beads at them, will remember that, then my job was done. Then I bring out then we have four other, there's four of us that do readings usually during it. But people, you got to do these things in order for people to go. It's a cognitive reinforcement that I truly believe in. And candy I love because the drunk galleries, you start throwing candy and everybody's loving it. Well, you get the drunks and they're all going, rah, 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 rah. And then I just take a big handful of Snickers bars and just pelt them with it, and they get hit, but they're so busy eating the Snickers bars that they don't go and they don't bother you while you're trying to do the messaging. So I mean, but there's a method to the madness. But I mean, sometimes you do that just to be able to go, oh, hey, it works. It works, baby. I get them going. I make sure that sometimes I get them in 3-part harmonies, and this way they all screw up really good. So then I throw hard candy's the best because I can knock people out at 60 yards.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
I didn't hear that.
But I do. But there's a method to it, and I remember sitting in churches, spiritualist churches like this, just put me in the box, and they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
You can go and you can preach peace and love all you want. But, if you're not convincing, the message is gone. People just show up to churches and services because they have to.
Yep.
And I don't want people to do that. I want people to come and, come to one of my things because like they want to see what outlandish thing I'm doing next. And somehow when they're being entertained, I can sneak that little message in there, and maybe they'll, my big thing in life has always been this. You don't have to. Spirit prepares everybody to do stuff, and that's everybody that comes to see me or whatever. And my job is to like enlighten them to do it. You're prepared to do one thing in life.
Yeah,
you're trained to that one thing in life. Let's get these people thinking about it. Maybe, sometimes it's just opening the door for a little old lady, I mean, rather than just slamming it open and trying to beat her in for a shopping cart,
Right.
But if I can go and I can get somebody to think like this, where maybe somebody that came to see me is going through something dark, maybe there you go. We're all in this together. Understand it and let's overcome it, and let's just I just hope that they go home and they have a smile on their face, and
but happiness heals.
Yeah, and I hope and listen, yes. I'm not looking to change the world, babies. I'm just throwing out some dollar store candy, man, and I'm just sharing it.
But
I'm
it's
just
good
sharing
dollar
it.
store candy at least.
Oh yeah. And you know what? If you get 3 Musketeers, it's great because they look like tracer bullets. You can see them like fly. on a good day, I could hit like 6 people.
Oh my god!
With one hand.
For like the Mike and Ike's and the hot tamales, especially. So next time,
the boxes. Oh no, the boxes leave dents in forehead.
They leave dents. I know.
You gotta watch that. I don't want to hit anybody in the head. I knocked somebody's glasses off once, but that's trying to get something. She was greedy.
So I have a question casino for you.
Yes, my dear.
I am curious about your opinion when it comes to going back to when we were talking about change before, and how people are more open-minded than they used to be, and really going into delving into that more spiritual, metaphysical part of themselves, not just religion. And, a lot of people have been talking about the fact that in the last couple of years now, it seems that there's a huge awakening because there is a preparation going on that we don't even realize is happening for good versus evil at some point.
Right.
And it's funny because myself in the last 6 years, I have now had public groups and private mentees and whatever you want to call them. I don't like saying teacher student, but, people who work with me, whatever. Right. Of all different ages. My youngest has been 18 and my oldest has been in her 60s. So cool. it is, isn't it? And then it really opened my eyes the one time to say, wow, all these people are, and even myself, I've done this my whole life, but the last leg of my awakening didn't really happen until my early 20s or my mid 20s. And, I know why. It's because I was a young mother. I had 2 kids. I had a child who needed my attention. I had to be able to be focused. So it slowly started to happen. I went through that last little bit of awakening, true understanding at that point. And they kind of came up with me with that. Whereas my youngest daughter, this is all she knows of me besides the dental assisting part too. But like she just knows me like this, where the other 2 were like, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like you always knew what we were doing it, but whoa, this is like a little more intense. But truly, like, what do you think? What do you think about that? Because at first, my own opinion of that was, maybe, and it was a little too biblical for me. But as the last few years have gone on, I am starting to feel as if I am being prepared because of how my path has gone and how I've walked into certain situations that I know were demonic and I know were bad because I was tested. But at the same time, I know I'm also supposed to help prepare others for that. And then it's funny you say too about how, you're just doing your thing. Cause that's what I say too. People come in to me all the time and other people I know, and they're like, oh my God, you're so up here. And I don't know if I could ever do what you're doing. And I'm like, no, listen, this is the way it is. I'm only here in your eyes because you don't have the understanding that I have. At some point, I'm going to help you get to this point, and we're going to look each other in the eye. And at that point, I'm going to say, okay, now we're at the same level. It's not who can be better than who, because this is a forever process for all of us. We are always learning and growing and developing. We have to go and learn with other people. We have to experience different things. So what do you think about all of that then? What is because I have evolved in my opinion on that.
Excuse me.
I think there is something coming. What? I don't know, eventually, but I think this COVID definitely is a test of humanity.
Oh yeah.
And not all the other stuff. I think it's more for humanity.
Here's the thing. We all are evolving constantly. We don't never stay still. And that's just because we're humans. That's just the way we are. Right. And being spiritual beings, we're forced into all sorts of situations. Now, it's funny when you said in your 20s, you really got, how you evolved into it. I was exposed early and then found sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and then shut the door on it for a number of years, and came back to it after I got married, where I was seriously, like in 1983, I was married in 82. So in 1983, I really got serious in it. And you find it. And it's when you're directed, you gotta go. You gotta go, because spirit is the great equalizer and turn around and we'll just go and whoop your ass if you don't. If you go and you're dragging your heels on your own evolution, it's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, what I was talking with Andrea Perrin from who wrote the books that the Conjuring movies were based on.
Oh, okay.
And I know her dad and a couple of her sisters. I know her real well. And she talks about the Great Shift very, very, deeply. And we were talking about that not too long ago, about how what we are becoming is a summation of our experiences to become ready for that shift. If we ourselves ignore it, well, then we ourselves are only to blame to what happens to us. Whereas many of us who I believe that are more enlightened, or I shouldn't say more enlightened, because nobody's more enlightened than each other. Some of us that watch it a little bit more, or perhaps we have different interests, or perhaps we're more in tune with what's going on. We're looking around through this evolution.
Sampling the universe.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And we're just going, and we're going to be the survivors. Right. And I'm a firm believer in that. And a lot of it has to do with evolution. A lot of it has to do with our own spirituality and how we can make it through. And, spirit is one of those. Spirit is a crazy cat that, has a wicked sense of humor. But on the other hand, I mean, if you really you dedicate yourself to learning and to looking ahead and to evolving and asking to evolve. And I'm not talking as a medium or whatever, just evolve as a person.
As a human being.
Yeah. In your own spirituality and your own belief systems. And I feel that spirit will never let you down on these things,
Yeah.
I mean, we all have, we all have expiration dates. You can't help yourself with that. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that we have no control over, but we have one thing that we control, and we control our attitude towards it. And spirit is huge into that. Huge with spirit's help, we can get through a lot of the suffering. So we have to be prepared for this stuff. And I don't know about you, but I never wanted to do this crap. Never. I'll come right out and tell you, I never did. I wanted, I wanted to be. I liked healing, loved healing.
Yeah.
Studied Reiki, studied spirituals, healing, did a lot of that stuff. Never wanted to be a medium, never wanted to be a voice. Learned it begrudgingly, and never wanted to do this. Never wanted to teach. Never wanted to do the lectures. Never wanted to do anything like that. That was not in my wheelhouse. And spirit turned around and helped me get through all that. Right. And and next thing I know, it's like, I just put my hands up and say, just push me in whatever direction you want, because I have no clue. And man brain, it happens. But
but in all fairness, we all need to learn to submit. I think we all have that moment where we realize, no, we're here for a specific reason. Some of us really do have a job to do here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
and
look at
what? What?
No,
Oh, you know what? Don't even get out. Wait, how am I pointing? Here we go. Knock it off. There he is.
I'm on the wrong side again. Hang on, we got to fix that problem.
What the hell?
Okay, there. That's much better. I'm always on the other side.
There it
is. Yeah. That's funny.
All confused.
But yeah, I mean,
I go like this.
But yeah, I have to agree because we have to. I think we're in a pivotal moment in our evolution. We are in a very, very pivotal moment. What's going on now is a correction of past deeds that should have been correct decades ago, but weren't.
Yeah.
And this loss and everything that's going on, and this hatred and everything that's happening. This should have been nipped generations ago, but it wasn't, because I don't feel man was evolved enough, and I don't believe even our country was evolved enough to do it. And I think now what's happening is I think that people are actually going out there and they're taking part in this because of the fact that it's the right time. It's the right time. And I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big Civil War buff. It's hard for me to see them take down Confederate statues because my great-great-grandfather was in the Union Army. He fought against them. His brother died. It's a big thing, but it's the right thing to do because it inherently is a bond with human slavery. So I have no problem with it. This stuff should have been done years ago, but it hasn't. So now's the right time to do it. All the violence with the police, you look to the police to have a little bit more compassion, but I understand what they have to go through, what they face every day. And I understand when these things erupt. I really do. So it's time for all that. It's time for the change. It's a huge change. Everybody, it's not just one thing. It's all rolled up into one. And I think that the virus has gone and been the catalyst.
And that's exactly, actually, that's more what I was talking about or referring to than everything else. The virus itself. I feel like, and I'm far from perfect, but I feel as if
we think you're
the
perfect.
Whole idea is, thank you. That was such a good answer. Nancy trained you so well. I'm telling you.
And I'm giving Mick. Here we go. Well, there we go. I'm giving him $1 to let you go and for him to tell you you're perfect.
Yeah.
He has to go away with me, so he has to be nice to me. But I mean, I feel like, it comes down to human decency and kindness and the basics of humanity. Yes. We're realizing once again that this is not, we have somebody I know says sometimes, and it irritates me, but quite honestly, there's some truth to this. We have too many rights in this country. We have lost the idea and the fundamental values that made us who we were to begin with. Not that it's not supposed to evolve and grow, but this is not about all for one and one for me. This is supposed to be about, how we take care of each other as a whole. Exactly. Just because something doesn't affect me, and it's not just this virus, but my behavior on a general day can affect somebody else, and I have to be cognizant of that. And I have to care about that at least a little bit.
I agree. I agree with that.
That's all been lost. And that's the problem, is everyone just says me, 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 me all the time. And unfortunately, we become a society that, for the most part, is focused too much on that. And that's where this is all getting lost.
I'm not a religious person, but till we all sit down and laugh together and pray together, we're in trouble. But till we can all sit down there and find that one joke that says, this is us. We're human beings. I'm out there chasing Bigfoot for crazy reasons, or it's the way the government's hiding this whole UFO thing. Who knows? But
well, it's kind of like little kids being able to sit down in a group and do exactly that. Hey, this is how I say my prayers. Hey, cool. Look at how I do it. Oh, cool. Look at this is how we do it in my house. Why can't it be like that again? Why can't it be like that?
It's tough. It's tough. And I think we've been on a crash course. I think our destination. I think we walked into the perfect storm this year, and I do seriously believe that a lot of it has been nurtured. There's so much frustration out there, and I do believe a lot of it has been nurtured. It's a culture of frustration, and I believe what's happening is people are just letting it. When COVID hit, and everybody was stuck, and everybody was afraid, I believe that really, it was like a teapot when it was ready to go. It needed one spark. It didn't matter what it was. It was just one spark ready to go. And I know, spiritually, like a week before everything really exploded, the George Floyd murder, I call it a murder, which is what it was. I believe that for a week beforehand, I could feel it. I just could feel it, and it was tough.
Yeah.
And because I do all the shopping in the house, and and I'm out a little bit more than Nancy is, and I could feel it. I could feel something in the air, and I didn't know what it was. I really didn't. Spirit wouldn't let me in on the little secret.
Yeah.
And when it exploded, and I could feel my heart just racing, and I could feel ungrounded, and I could feel the spinning, and I just thought, this is it. This is the perfect storm. People are just, they've had it. They're exhausted. Everybody's exhausted. It's just the way it is. And I just thought, well, I have to go and I have to take care of myself first before we can help everybody else. But again, I'm one voice out there, and I just like you guys, and you got to be able to go and just be nice. That's all you can do. That's all we can do is just be nice. Be respectful.
Yes.
And that's the only thing Spirit keeps telling me was just be respectful. And I am. And you know how many people like I smile at? Of course they can't see because I got a mask on. So they don't smile back.
Know, right.
But if you say hello or whatever, they just look at you and they just go on, And I think that's terrible. And I think it's terrible that people are so frustrated that they go and they take out those frustrations on other people. And, it's go for a long walk or something before you. But a lot of people are ungrounded. This whole thing has left. And I don't know how many sensitives that I know that feel the same way. I mean, when we were talking after we kind of got together one day with some friends, and everybody felt the same way. It was like very uneven. And I usually, and I'm going to tell you guys something, me being me, I go out of my way not to let anything bother me or shake me. This is the first time in my entire life that I can say that I was a little shaken. So that's why I immediately went and thought, I've got to do something to help other people after I got that message, and let's just do something fun.
Well, that's why we felt like too, it was hard, to, what it's like to commit to doing shows or doing different things, and when COVID hit and everything stopped and slowed down and then came to a screeching halt, more like, we had all this time on our hands, and that's why we said, well, let's do the show every week. We may not be able to do that forever, but at least for now, it'll give people something. It'll give us something and a purpose, and hopefully other people too. And that's exactly it. You do what you can do in the little ways that you can do it, and hope that you can just touch one person.
Again, here's the thing. Spirit, years ago, when I used to meditate, because I can't meditate worth a damn, in a classical sense, you're by the beach.
I know.
And my brain is like this.
Me too.
Where's the freaking beach? I'm not getting any beach. Oh, and you can hear the waves. I don't hear any waves. I hear this. The woman next to me stomach is growling. I can hear that. I'm not wired that way. For me,
I do.
I'm one of those people that it's like the Buddhist tradition where you prepare yourself for death. That's what I believe meditation is for. You prepare yourself for the end, to nothing. That's again, for me, that's my belief system, because I believe that at the very end, when the body dies, you become a vibration, frequency, whatever.
Right.
And the eventual end of my existence is when I can strip my ego and personality away from those vibrations, let myself go, and then become one with everything. I believe that's why, I should be meditating into that blackness.
Well, let's see. I have a book, Tim, that I got that you probably should finish reading.
I should
Tai Chi for Dummies. I bought a used copy, and who did it belong to?
Oh,
Busted.
So you had to get a little farther through the book.
You're not supposed to call the guests out on the air, okay? I mean,
hey,
we're talking about meditation.
That's hysterical.
I have a book on mental preparedness. It's a 50-page book I got 30 years ago when I was practicing martial arts.
Oh my God.
I never finished it. It's 50 pages.
So
I know
funny.
when I finish that because it's that aha moment of that woosah, that whole let it go.
I have, you know what? I have gone and I have taken all these meditation classes and courses.
Right.
I mean, I've gone up to the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. I did all the meditations there. I was in the Buddhist temple that they have there. I was out. Do you want to know a secret? It's like, if I can achieve nothingness, then I know that I've succeeded in what I'm supposed to do. If I'm going to visualize the beautiful garden, and that beautiful garden is everybody's walking around with just sandals and thongs on. Do you know what I mean?
Happy little tree.
Yeah, really. That's what it's like. I just can't. Yeah. And even, I was talking. We had a mini drum circle Monday with the.
Yes, you did.
I call it the retirees club. We're all retired. And,
minus the 9-year-old.
Well. Hey, Joe's son Mason, he's the only one that can keep a beat, so that's the reason why we had him there. He was great. Awesome. We could keep up with him, But
oh my gosh,
I was talking to somebody about that, and he says, "Well, how do you prepare for what you do? Like you're doing readings or whatever?" I said, "I listen to AC/DC in the car on the way to wherever I'm going. That's the way I prepare." And I was trained years ago. It's like a breath, breath in, bang, I'm in the zone. A breath out, I'm out of the zone. That quick. None of this. I go, wait a minute, I got to sit and ground, and I don't have time for that shit. I got stuff to do in my life, and I'm seriously. If it works for other people, it's great. But I have got to. In my life,
finds their own way.
That's exactly it. And I'll tell you what. Because I had worked with shamans for years, off and on, drumming is the only thing that really I focus with. That awesome. And that's actually like a total focus when I drum. But otherwise, no. I mean, I can't do it. I wish I could. I wish I could. I wish I could sit there and put a tape in and hear this beautiful voice go. Now, next, we'll make sure that you have all your weapons underneath the bed. And there is no gun under your pillow.
Every time you talk like that, all I see is Bob Ross with his canvas. I can't help it.
Maybe, hey, that might be. Listen. This might be my next thing. I should do that.
See?
I actually did have perm back in the disco days.
I might have seen all those pictures.
Back in the 90s too.
It's like had the pick and everything,
So here it is. Well, disco. What's disco?
Yeah, we don't want to go that far back. Believe me.
What's disco?
Listen.
Easy to care of the problem of disco.
That was a problem. It was a problem. Yes, it was. That's.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
We go to drumming. We go to sound. You and I have talked on investigations about infrasound.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is like, I'm going to tell you what, that amazes me because the more I go, and you can tell I get excited over it because it is like, it makes so much sense to me.
Right.
I'll sit there and I'll sit there and we start talking about infrasound and you start looking at it and you start seeing how things are affected by it. It's amazing. And how the cause or not causes, but the effects of it and how when we start looking at like wild animals and how they work with infrasound and all the if they're out there, if wild animals are being affected by it,
yeah,
why aren't why can't we be affected by it? And why can't that vibration affect the spirit world? That to me is just amazing. And then we start talking about Bigfoot and we start talking about interdimensional UFOs and all. I mean, to me, it makes perfect sense.
I was going to say, to me, music and raising a vibration has everything to do with spirit in the spirit world. Probably more so than us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it.
I was introduced to Hemisync 2 summers ago. And no, it was last summer. It's only been a year.
It was last summer. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's bilateral tones, and and you talk about putting yourself in a meditative state. It confuses your mind where you can't. But man, can I go to sleep quick? Woo. I'm meditating 1 minute, next minute I'm gone. But
who are you kidding? You can nod off in the middle of an investigation. I'm kidding.
I've been accused of nodding off tonight during the show, and
I've fallen asleep in every investigation I've ever been at. It doesn't matter.
I can't nap. I can't doze. I can't fall asleep. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so far.
I hate when they. You know what sucks is when you fall asleep and they steal your flashlights, and you're in a huge building. That sucks. I mean, you're like,
those are great friends.
Right.
These are the people that I hang with. What can I tell you? This is what they do. But I mean, it's an amazing. To me, that is the next wild. That's the Wild West. That's the frontier. That just fascinates me, and I just wish they would be doing more research with that. I really do, because my God, it's like, it's like this elephant in the room. That's the only way I can describe it, because it makes so much sense. And you start looking at it and the effects in the natural world. And then then of course, you can go even further with the tectonic plates and I sit there and just like the other night, I made the fatal mistake of thinking about it. 3 a.m. I'm like this going,
oh boy.
I'm like this going, well, wait a minute. Is this a direct cause of, meanwhile, there's an info commercial on there about foot cream, and it's like, I didn't even realize that like I had lost like an hour or so thinking about it, because to me,
you were meditating.
Yeah, well, now when it comes to foot cream, that's deadly serious. I'll show you I take pictures of my feet and post them on Facebook.
Yes, you do every day.
So I can share. So I can share them with people. I do that. Just
go online and friend him, everybody, and you can see his obligatory retired picture of his feet.
I do that to go and upset the guys that are still working. My coworkers. I like to share things with them, you got
to keep them in the loop. I mean, that's just considerate of you.
I do that because this way it's something that they can obtain for themselves eventually.
Exactly. Maybe someday if they're lucky.
Yeah, but infrasound is the Wild West. That is the next. That is like that's the thing that people are people are missing it. Yeah. And I mean, if you start looking at UFO contactees, a lot of it has to do with infrasound. Bigfoot, the correlation between UFOs and Bigfoot sightings, a lot of times it's infrasound. A lot of times it's interdimensional. A lot of times it has something to do with infrasound. Sometimes they start talking about wildlife being affected before something, before there's a sighting. That to me is great. I'm a firm believer that Bigfoot works with it. I believe that he can emanate it, and I believe that he can work with it. Huh. And I believe that has a lot to do with why they can't be why we miss them. I really do. I wish he was.
Talk about that a little more.
Oh, these are come on. These are things that are like,
it's just like a 3-hour episode on.
Oh, I know.
Infrasound is. Marilyn just said, put in here earthquakes and UFOs, and there are infrasound readers to figure out if there's an earthquake coming.
Right.
No, I understand that.
Infrasound is below 20 decibels. It's below natural human range.
No, I understand that. But I want to know what he thinks about how Bigfoot would use that, or how they use that to their advantage.
Oh, that's simple.
Stuns you.
Yeah. It really does. It does.
I just want to hear, because everyone has different opinions on that.
I have to agree with him. I believe it's a numbing effect. Yeah. I really do. I believe it's something
big cats do.
And again, this goes, if we don't know what vibration, what frequency spirit works at. Is that we've only assumed that it's this high vibration because that's what we were taught. Because man must raise his vibration for spirit to come down this low and work in the middle. What happens if it's not? What happens if it's under it? This is what I find so fascinating. Not just, I mean, that could be if people would go and experiment and do demonstrations with this. That could be the key to the great mysteries of the universe. It really could. And I'm a firm believer in that. I think I'm one of those guys that's like, I came to the table late. I didn't know what infrasound was. I thought it was like when my underwear gets caught in the wringer, and that's what I thought. I thought that's what it was. It makes that whirring sound, just destroys the elastic. It makes it look like it's, Bigfoot's underwear. But I'm a firm believer that this is something that should be experimented with. Yeah. Something that people are just not getting.
I'll be back. Somebody's knocking on my door here.
It's us. What's wrong? Wow. Where are you going? It's us.
I know. I'll be right back.
Christy, what are you? Are you sending out those infrasound thought waves? Knock, 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 knock. There's nobody there.
I wish I was that good. I would mess with him so bad.
Yeah, well, that's all part of it. That's the fun of it.
The whole remote viewing thing just throws him off, so I have to baby steps with him.
Remote viewing that's a topic that's
it is crazy. You guys.
You had knocking at your door and nobody was there. What's up with that? Sleep tight tonight.
Yeah, it might be the base.
Remember, you're a badass.
I don't know.
Hey, I got put up. I did this little con in Ohio, and they put me up at this place that I swear to God, it was this long, narrow room. There was the bed, there was a dresser, and on top of the dresser was the TV. No other furniture in there. No other furniture. The lamp was like on top next to the TV. And it was so narrow and there was nothing else in there. The only thing that was missing was the chalk outline where a body should have been. So they put me up in this place. Nice. I went there during the day. Thank God I saw it during the day. I went to the dumpster. I found a piece of wood so that I could wedge it against the doorknob so nobody would come in and get me in the middle of the night. So yeah, these you got to watch it. You got to watch these places,
Oh my God. Yeah, just a little bit.
You never know. We don't want listen, we don't want to lose him. Come on, Mix is one. He's a good guy.
No. Listen, it's taking me a year to break him in and to train him appropriately, and it's still gonna take me a long time, and
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, wait, was I talking about my partner or my husband? Wait a second. Oh, it doesn't matter.
50-50. Don't worry about it.
Whatever it takes.
Don't worry about
it. Greg's usually like better him than me.
Don't worry about such things. These things are crazy.
Right?
Oh my Lord.
There's so much. We could cover so much with you in just so many different ways. What do you have? I mean, what do you have coming up? I mean, I know COVID and everything, nothing is normal, but you just had a show sell out, correct?
Yeah,
you're doing readings or an event or something, right?
We're doing, I'm doing readings at Paranormal Oddities.
Right.
And I believe that's the 10th, and that sold out. That was so funny because poor Joe. It's like sold out in 10 minutes. It's like
Joe's awesome.
And people get upset, and it's like, listen, guys.
I know.
So I'm going to I don't have a date yet, but we're going to do another one in August.
Good.
And I believe, I can't remember when it is, but it's that week. It's whatever, the Friday of that week. I don't have my calendar with me. I'm going to be doing another stump service at Dragonfly Studio Salon up in Winsville, so long as it's not raining out, so we can practice safety stuff. We do have, hopefully, knock on wood, the seance thing up
October,
at the Buffalo,
right?
Yep, Buffalo Niagara.
Hopefully October.
Yeah, Heritage Village, where we're going to be working in period buildings, which is going to be can be a little crazy, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of I had a full dance card this year, and it's all shut down, which I'm so thankful for. I'm glad that they are. And you know what, with what I'm working on the house, it gives me so much more room and so much more time to do it. But you know what's fun is the fact that I get a chance to go, and I'm doing a lot of small individual adventures. And we were just up at I'll tell you where I just pooped myself. I was at
Wildwood.
I was at Wildwood, and it was hysterical because I go up, I'm on the second floor, and we're all doing solo stuff, right?
The doll room, right?
Yeah. So we're up at Wildwood, right up by the doll room. And I'm like, funny. And of course, guess who they picked to be anchor? I'm the last one up there. Oh, so why don't we just get everything going for Tim when he goes up there, Well,
they promoted you so well. They put you on a pedestal.
Oh my God.
to handle it all.
I got up there, and this was funny because it was like, it was dead calm, and even the energy, I could feel the energy peaking, but nothing. It was just dead calm. So I'm by the doll room, and I'm I'm just kind of doing my blah 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 blah. All of a sudden, right here was this form of a man, a shadow of a man with a hat. I mean, he had a hat on, like the 1940s or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got to tell you what, I jumped back. I did not expect that. I thought it was somebody in the house. I really did. And I jumped back, and I'm going, what the F? Oh my, what the F? And I looked back, and he was still there. So I took my breath, and he's still there. And I blinked my eyes, and it disappeared. And it was that I'm not, you know what? I don't like things that jump out at me. I don't. Right. But he was like right here. Oh. I think I didn't expect it. I did not expect it, but that was funny. That was comic relief even for me.
Awesome.
And that it really was funny. But you know what? I know some of the best, some of the best investigators. If there's something like that close, everybody jumps.
And that's what I tell people, I don't see, if something happens the way you don't expect it, or what you're, things that you're not used to, but you're capable of, it's still going to catch you off guard. Yeah. I don't see people walking around with my eyes physically, but I have, and I know I can. It's just not a normal thing for me.
Right.
So if somebody walks through the wall at that moment, I'm going to pee my pants as fast as you, but the only difference is I'm not going to have the fear of it that I used to have. No. It's just going to catch me off guard.
It was funny because then we did a
what was that? What
was that?
They sent somebody to check on me at a haunted house once. They have it on film.
That we have to share.
Coming. It's online. Yeah. We have to share that one. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just thinking of. I can think of his face. Somebody goes.
He jumped right out of that.
Somebody behind you. I look. There's nobody. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a shadow. The next thing you know, there's a guy's face in the doorway. I'm like, wait, you're supposed to be in another building, not here.
I'm telling you.
Stop being a baby.
You can ask my wife. I hate the dark. I don't like working in the dark. I don't like investigating in total darkness. And mostly because of the fact I have a cataract that I have to go and that they canceled, so I can't, no elective surgeries.
Yeah.
So it's tough because, and again, it was on this side, and I didn't expect it because in the dark it kind of fogs it out a little. Just on the peripheral, it fogs it out. So that was just like, whoa. But then later on, a couple minutes later, I was doing, I did trance that night. I did contact work that night, and that was fun because I got names, and I got, it was like bang, 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 real quick.
Yeah.
And I had that music box. I got that para music box or whatever they call it, and I love it because of the fact it's like a REM pod, but it doesn't have that annoying buzz. It's whenever something hits it, will play the music box, and I wanted to get something that was a little bit more gentler. For like, it's like if you have a woman's spirit or a children's spirit, I don't want that, that real shrill thing. I want something that'll play. And it got to the point where it was actually answering on cue. That was impressive. That's awesome. But
that's so exciting when that happens.
It was great. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that. But did you hear about what happened at the end of the?
I missed it, but yes, I did. I heard about it the next day.
It was hysterical. We're all on the first floor, right? Everybody is like we're just like sitting there. We're like, it's late at night. We've packed up all our equipment. We've done our walkthrough.
Preface it. It was you and some other very seasoned investigators, and you guys are big guys. You guys are like boom, buff, ready to go, right?
It was great. It was great. I mean, we are big guys. I mean, every one of us is like, all of us. I can honestly say that none of us missed a meal in our lives. I
didn't mean big like that. I just meant like you were big.
No. We're tall and big like that.
There she goes, picking on us again.
I know.
Well, I wasn't including you in that, so that's okay.
But
I said seasoned investigator. Oh, whoops.
But we are every one of us. Every one of us got years underneath our belts,
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and it's like, kind of getting down, we're just relaxing, passing a bag of chips around, that somebody bought at the dollar store, and just relaxing, just kind of like settling down, getting ready for our drive home. And because we all had driven individually, all of a sudden we hear this bat. I mean, the bat was this big, this little tiny bat. By the time we were done with the story, it was about like that. It was like a fishing story. But this thing come down, and it's you never seen guys like this sliding down onto the floor as quick as you can and screaming like Yari's like, this sounds like an Italian wedding. Everybody's screaming. Ah!
Oh my God. I would have loved to see. I would have paid to see that.
What the best part was? So it's in that little room, then it goes in the living room, and then it goes up the stairs, up to the second floor, probably going up to the third floor. But it came out of the basement, and Joe had been down there, and Johnny had been down there, and Johnny looks at me and goes, if that thing had started moving when I was down there, I would have died. I would have just laid down on the floor and my heart would have stopped. I would have died. And that was even worse because now we're all in hysterics because we're all like just like on the floor like this. Like I got hair, like it's like, it's gonna go in my hair. It's like we're like this and we're screaming, we're laughing. And he says that was even worse because now none of us can even breathe because we're laughing so hard.
That's awesome.
It was
You'll
great.
Never forget it. See, you'll never forget.
I'll tell you what. It was, number one, for me personally, it was a great investigation because of the fact that, that with the shadow person right there was like bang, and that's neat. That's neat for me to jump like that. It's like wow, And then to do the contact work. I remember part of it. And I remember getting the names and I remember getting like descriptions of bang, bang. And it was like super quick. And then I came out of it. I started asking questions and the music box would just do what they call short bursts.
Yes.
Where it would like, if you come close to it, it'll go off. And then like, if you like walk by it, it goes back, goes on and off. That was great. And I just said to it, it's like, I asked a question, the thing would go. It was just like it was on cue. So it was really a neat experience up there. I haven't had one of those poop my pants experiences in years. And that
was a huge investigation and a huge location for me too. When we were there, the basement was my favorite place. It was most interactive on the medium level for me as a medium, to be able to interact and really have it all backed up by all the equipment and all the technology. It was awesome. It was hands down the best one. Yeah, we got a lot of video, a lot of documentation.
The absolute best place I've ever investigated, Gettysburg. It's called the Murder House. House was built in the 1790s.
Take notes.
It was used as a field hospital.
Yeah, the murder house. Gotcha.
It's called the murder house because a guy murdered his fiancée in the house in 1985.
Oh,
And he actually got off of the charge, even though he had cocked a gun in order to shoot her a second time. But I don't know how that happened. But yeah, he's still alive. He's down in the Carolinas someplace right now.
how nice for him.
But we were there, and we had a REM pod in the middle of the floor in the upstairs living room. This apartment is 2 floors. It's huge. And, so it's empty. And so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden the guy's got an SKS cameras, the stick cameras. Is that what they're called?
SKS?
SLS, yeah.
SLS, yeah.
I can never remember the name of this newfangled stuff. And anyway, I never had a lot of use for them. I always thought they were like, a computer trying to, make sense out of what's going on. Yeah. I got to tell you, that night it was weird because I was sitting on the windowsill, kind of looking, and there's a guy over there, and he's got the camera on the REM pod. See a little figure come across, reach up, like it's grabbing the antenna of the REM pod, and it went off like somebody grabbed it. Somebody broke it, like so physically grabbed it. But it did it 3 times. Wow. The last time was on command. That's was cool. Amazing. That was probably the craziest one I've ever seen. And then for like seeing something, I mean, everybody knows I saw a girl at the bottom of the stairs when we first went up there in 2011. But the USS Edson in Bay City, Michigan, we were down there, and we had been investigating, and everybody's tired, and we're in this one bulk area, and we're kind of like relaxing. I looked up, and I see this figure, like pixelated, like head and like a black body, and I see it like really move slowly like this, and then back down this one hallway or whatever you call it. I'm not a Navy guy. I jumped up. I ran after it. I thought people saw it. They're going to follow me. Nobody follows me, They're all thinking that I got sick or something. I go running. I jump over the knee knocker because they're, how the doors are.
Yeah.
And I landed on my bad knee, my bad leg, and I bounced off the walls. Bang, bang, bang. But I stopped just enough to see it go down this hallway. Now I get to the end. Of course, I slam into the wall because I'm still running, and I'm uncoordinated. And I see this thing like kind of go into this one room. Now there's stairs going up to the upper deck. And I'm thinking I would have caught this thing going upstairs. It's got to be in this room. So I went in the room, and I'm going, hey, and I'm looking around, nothing. Found out that was the room that a former caretaker lived in, and he died in that room, or he might have died on board the ship. And he loved it. He loved the ship that much. And they say his name is Paul, and they see him every so often. But it was really cool because it was like this. It was just like moving. It looked like it was on like a platform and then disappeared. That was a cool one. I got to say, I have no explanation about that one. But I'll tell you what, that was another one where I was like, ooh, there's volcanic mud in my shorts. I don't understand this. I don't understand this.
Well, on that note, the saying, unfortunately, time flies when you're having fun, and we are over our time. So unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. But hey, what better way to end on, what better note to end it on than Mud and Tim shorts? This is fantastic.
Why not? These are important things. Listen, I only go and I share these things with my closest friends.
We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it.
So long as you guys don't have to wash my shorts, you guys are in good shape.
Yeah, Nancy, she's a fantastic woman. I'm sure she's got a handle on that.
I'm retired. I do the laundry in this house. That's my job. That's my job.
So really quick then, before we go, if people do want to get a hold of you, if people do want to know more about you and what you're doing, how can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Well, right now I have the website. I'm just starting to re-update. TimothyTShaw.com. I'm just starting because so many things have like canceled, and I'm doing, I'm doing some, trying to put a little stuff going on locally in Western New York. Or look for me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. It's like, you'll see my feet. That's the important stuff. You see pictures of my dog, my feet, Sometimes I put stuff in my collection on there,
Winnie's awesome.
My little Winifred, the psychic
and
dog.
Nancy rocks that purple in her hair, I'll tell you.
I used to have it in my beard, but
Yeah, and if you got stuff coming up, big events where we can actually get people in, more than 10 or so, because we know your stuff sells out real fast.
You're always listen. You guys are always welcome to anything.
No, I'm just
let me know.
Word out to the team. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
But you guys just let me know and come on in. I'm greatly underwhelming.
We appreciate it. We've been on
thank you,
together,
Tim.
But
we need to do a gig together. I think that'd be fun.
I think so too. I really do. Just just be ready. Just come to one of my galleries. Just get acclimated so that where I throw stuff, so I don't hit you. There's nothing worse than knocking out the other medium that you're supposed to be working with.
Right. But listen, maybe it's you who won't be able to handle me.
I wish.
Probably not, though. I'll be diving after the candy.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy doing that. No. I think it would be a lot of fun. When this stuff starts to slow down, even if we want to do like a small thing, like a 10, a 10-seater. I call them 10-seaters.
10-seaters.
It would be fun because we don't get a chance. Actually, because we've known each other for a while now, but we've never really had a chance to really work together or,
Because the Saints will be the first. I'm really looking forward to that.
Because you're just too busy. You're too busy.
Oh, yeah.
This is the problem.
I don't think I could keep up with your schedule, sir.
Last year was 38 classes, gigs, and talks last year. So this year, I think I got 3.
That's happy. Good. Enjoy it while it lasts, right?
Oh, you got it. Because I know I'm going to kick it into the drive next year.
Oh, and how many other TV shows tucked in the middle?
Exactly.
I just got contacted by somebody lately, and
really good for you.
I got a feeling I'm going to say no to it, but
you have to do what's right for you.
Oh yeah, I'm at that point in my life. I'm so big, I can do whatever. No, I just sometimes you got to sit there and go, I don't like the Listen, I am not going to go and ride a motorcycle dressed in leather to help out demonologists and go from place to place. I'm not doing that. Those days are gone because
the chaps.
Okay.
Listen, we don't listen. Listen, no assless chaps anymore. I'm over 60. You don't wear kilts and you don't wear assless chaps over 60. It's not a pleasant thing. It scares even me. It scares even me. And let me tell you, those motorcycles get hot. I'm just going to tell you, they're warning you.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
This Mad Max thing, it's all fantasy. No Mad Max.
Well, on that note, Tim, thank you so very much. Before the two of you really get going, thank you very much for coming on the show. We had so much fun.
Thank you. It was
the conversation was fantastic.
It was great. It was great to be able to go and hang out with you guys for a little bit. It was fun. And everybody, thank you for listening in because these two cats are cool. They're beyond cool. I'm telling you, you just take a look at them. They just exude cool. They're just beyond cool. You know what? People go and I bought some Cool Cat coffee the other day, and their faces were on the Cool Cat coffee. So I want to tell you something. That's how cool they are. People don't realize how cool they are. You got to go and just listen. Coolio ain't got nothing on these two cool cats. Just great cool cats. They're effervescent, they're iridescent, they're great scholars. They are great humanitarians, and they are coming to you every week. Right here on this channel. Be there, or I am going to go and I'm going to let one of them have one of my clown dolls just to come and visit and just say hi.
Oh, wow. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight, and we will see you all next week. Yeah. Same time, same channel, same place. So everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and sample on.
Please please share. Oh, and here's the little secret about this music there, Mr. Shaw. As it goes out, it lets the dogs know it's time to go out.
That's right. My wife's probably chomping at the bed.
I love it. I love it. Perfect.
Thank you all.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.